Hello everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Crimson Dawn Lore, where I, the author, teach you, the viewer, about the world of Crimson Dawn. Today's episode is on the Sukhoi Su-51 multi-role fighter, codenamed Falken. A little behind-the-scenes info first. It was originally placeholed by the ADFX-01 Morgan from the Ace Combat games, but I decided to make my own design in LEGO Digital Designer, and I think the design turned out very nicely, as it took me pretty much a whole day to make. Anyway, let's get into the lore of this multi-role fighter. A highly advanced multi-role aircraft developed by Sukhoi for the new Soviet Air Force in the year 2030. The Su-51 is a multi-role forward-swept wing fighter that improved on the design of the Su-37 Terminator by combining it with the forward-swept wings of the Su-47 Barracuda, although with its own sleek and original airframe. Since the PAC-FA was never fully realized into the Su-57 like in our timeline, its prototypes were eventually scrapped in favor of the Su-51. This multi-role fighter is capable of reaching Mach 2.2 and is highly maneuverable even at max speed, thanks to its forward-swept wing design. Premier Letyeskov personally oversaw the maiden flight of the first prototype Su-51 on January 10, 2030, and immediately approved of the design upon its first successful test flight, claiming he would even fly one himself had he known how to fly, just to join his comrades in the skies. It is armed with twin 30mm cannons mounted near the cockpit on opposite sides, two wing-mounted missile pods that can lock onto a total of 4 air and ground targets simultaneously, and one miniaturized railgun in between the air intakes. This loadout makes it ideal for engaging all sorts of enemy vehicles in the air, on the ground, and at sea. This aircraft had numerous squadrons built in the first few months of 2030, although the Su-37 Terminator stayed as the backbone of the Air Force until 2040, when the Su-51 phased it out. The fighter is highly regarded as one of the most effective aircraft to date, and its track record solidified its presence as an invaluable asset in almost every battle that it participated in. Thanks to its excellent performance, the most decorated fighter squadron in the new Soviet Air Force, codenamed Strigan, was responsible for destroying key aircraft and ground targets that ultimately turned the tide of every battle they took part in, further reinforcing their legendary status within the new Soviet Air Force. And that concludes today's episode of Crimson Dawn Lore. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and I'll see you next week.